Hey guys, it's Andy from Estella's Revenge. I'm here today with a quick review of the Slynx by Tatyana Tolstaya, and I actually recorded this video last weekend and the light was so terrible I decided I would try it again. The International Reads group on Goodreads, which is a bunch of booktubers that got together to read more diversely, picked this book for November and read it together. The Google Hangout discussion was actually today on Frenchie D's channel. My puppy says hello. And so I wanted to give my thoughts on it very quickly, even though I couldn't join that hangout today. So this book falls kind of squarely outside my comfort zone. Generally, I don't read a lot of Russian classics. I don't read a lot of Russian literature in general. I've always had kind of this maybe mistaken mindset that they're hard, they're not that interesting, whatever. I love Nabokov. He's really the only Russian writer that I've read. But Tatyana Tolstaya is Leo Tolstoy's family, same Tolstoy family. And this book was published, I believe, in 2007. My New York Review of Books copy was 2007. Originally published in 2000, this edition in 2007, I think. So this is basically a dystopia. It is a post-apocalyptic book that takes place in what is left of Moscow after 200 years after a nuclear event called the Blast. And the protagonist's name is Benedict. He is kind of a bumbling, oafish character. He kind of doesn't really have an opinion about much. And so while he annoyed me a great deal at times, I think it was a great device on Tolstoya's part because he doesn't have any opinions about anything. You get an unfettered look at what his life and what this society is like. And so in that way, it works very, very well. So you have people who lived before the blast called Oldiners who don't age and die. And then you have people who are born after the blast who have a lot of physical deformities and maybe abilities. And these things are called consequences. So it could be anything from coxcombs on their faces to the ability to breathe fire, or they have claws, or whatever. They do live in something of a dictatorial society. They have one leader named Kuzmich. I can't remember his first name. But essentially he controls the flow of knowledge. So while Benedict is a scribe, he is kind of writing decrees that Kuzmich will put out, poetry, literature, things like that. All of those things are credited to him so that the society thinks he is like the most intelligent leader, the holder of all knowledge, and so he has a great deal of control in that way. If anyone has books, they might have their home stormed and those books taken away from them. And really doing that because they want to preserve knowledge, and they think that the lay folk will just, mess up their books, destroy the knowledge, so on and so forth. But yeah, they're definitely limited in what they can know. And Benedict really doesn't realize all of this or the extent of it until he gets married, and then he is kind of pulled in and learns some things he didn't know, is a part of some things that he wouldn't have been otherwise, revolutionary type things that he's kind of just bungling through. So yeah, really interesting the way society is used in this book. It really is not a lot different from what communist Russia would have been like during the Cold War. There is government money, but it's not worth anything. The residents of this after the blast Moscow actually use mice as their currency. They eat mice, they make their clothes out of mice. It's kind of very ironic that this small tiny thing of insignificance that is considered a plague is so valuable in this society. Like I said, the flow of knowledge is staunched. They're kept in the dark. The Oldiners remember a time before. And so there are a lot of allusions and references to Russian culture and literature, specifically to Pushkin, who the Oldiners kind of worship in a sense. They build a statue to him and things of that nature. So yeah, it's just really, really interesting the way before and after are very similar. it's kind of a bleak outlook, and I guess that's what I've heard the most about Russian literature, is that it can be quite bleak. One of the things that I enjoy most about this International Reads group is that some of our members read this book in the original Russian, and some read it in English, and some read it both ways. And so Malinka did a great video about the comparison. She read it in Russian and English. I'll link that in the down bar. But she said this was a lot grittier book in Russian. The characters were often almost cartoonish to me, especially Benedict in the English version. But again, being satire, that's not totally unexpected. I read Vile Bodies by Evelyn Waugh not too long ago, and so another reason this book kind of falls outside my comfort zone, or I thought I might not enjoy it so much, is because satire can be problematic for me over about 100 pages, because I feel like, okay, the cleverness of this has been established, and now I want more plot, I want more character, I want more deep developments. But the satire really didn't bother me too much in this one. This is one of those books that when I first finished it, I only rated it 3 out of 5 stars. But as I thought about it, and I thought about the allusions and the references and the cleverness of the satire and things of that nature, it really grew on me, and I actually went back and bumped that rating up to a 4. So I am very glad that I read The Slynx by Tatyana Tolstaya. I'm glad that the International Reads Book Club kind of pushed me to do that. I will definitely be reading more Russian lit in 2014 as I'm trying to read more diversely. And if you'd like to join us for the December book, it is Snow Country by Kawabata. And I have that one from the University Library ready to roll, so I hope that you will join in with that as well. So I hope y'all have a good day, have a good weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye.